The movie begins by showing the state of Spain, which has experienced a scarcity of resources for 17 months. It's not just Spain, there are several other countries that are also experiencing the same thing. In order to end this problem, the government created an inadequate movement by arresting every pregnant woman and child to reduce the population. The scene then switches to showing a husband and wife named Mia and Nico who are planning to escape from Spain via illegal routes. With Mia being pregnant, Nico was determined to make this decision because he didn't want Mia to be arrested by the government. After paying with some money and their wedding rings, Mia and Nico finally managed to get into the container along with several other people who also intended to escape. Mostly, they are pregnant women or families with children, so the plan is that this container will take them to the port and send them to Ireland by sea. On the way, Nico felt Mia's stomach to check the condition of their baby. Mia said that she hadn't felt a kick from her baby for 2 days, and that made her quite worried. But Nico tried to calm Mia and assured her that their baby would definitely be born safely. Not long after, the container suddenly stopped and opened. At that time there were many people entering the container, so the container owner divided them and told half of them to get down. Nico was one of the people ordered to get down, so that he was separated from Mia. Mia, who was crying in fear when she saw from the container hole that Nico had entered another green container with the number 107. Mia quickly called Nico. Nico calmed Mia by saying that he would try everything, so that they could meet again in the future. While on the way to the port, the containers passed through streets filled with chaos due to the ongoing crisis. The container was hit several times by gunfire, which caused holes in several parts. Through these holes, Mia saw that there were many pregnant women and children who had been forcibly arrested by the police. The container carrying Mia then stopped at a checkpoint where the police would check containers passing through the road to ensure that no one was crossing the port illegally. Fortunately, the container was designed with 2 rooms so that the police did not find out about the people hiding inside it. However, the police turned out to be smart enough. He deliberately shot part of the container, so he knew that there was something else hidden inside the container. As a result, they were discovered and asked to leave. The police promised not to hurt them and took them to a safe place. But not a single passenger dared to come out. Mia, who was in there, chose to climb onto a wooden box so she could protect herself. Who would have thought that Mia's decision was the right decision, because after that the police shot everyone, including the children. Only Mia managed to survive the incident, and she immediately sent a message to Nico telling him to hide immediately because Mia didn't want to lose Nico. After continuing the journey, the container finally arrived at the port. The container and several other containers were then loaded onto a ship to send to Ireland. Until then, Mia kept trying to contact Nico, but she had not received an answer. When night fell, the transport ship experienced a shake severe due to rain and storms in the middle of the ocean. The people who were still in the container shouted for help, likewise with Mia. Unfortunately, the ship's officers did not have time to get everyone out, so several containers fell into the sea due to the increasingly violent shaking. This incident caused Mia, who was in the container, to be thrown and finally fainted. A few hours later, Mia woke up to the container starting to flood because of the water coming in through small holes. She peeked through the holes, and all he could see was the expanse of sea and several sunken containers. Yeah, now Mia is trapped in a container and she has to survive in there until help arrives. Not long after, Mia saw green container number 107, which was slowly starting to sink, and heard screams from the people inside. Mia panicked, thinking about Nico's safety. Moreover, at that time Nico still couldn't be contacted. It was getting dark, and slowly Mia began to lose her will to survive. She grabbed a penknife nearby and intended to commit suicide. But suddenly she felt a movement in her stomach, indicating that the baby was still alive. This made Mia give up her plans, and she chose to survive. The next day, Mia began to make up her mind to survive in the container. She began to collect the items that were there, starting from a bottle of water, a flashlight, matches, an iron drill, and several other objects. Not long after, Mia got a call from Nico. Nico unexpectedly turned out to be still alive because of the driver carrying the container, cheating the passengers, and leaving them outside the city. After hearing what happened to Mia, Nico asked Mia to remain calm, and he promised he would immediately save her. The following night, Mia's container was again hit by rain and storms. That night Mia tried to hold on as hard as she could, because it looked like she was going to give birth. In the midst of the shock, Mia finally gave birth to a baby girl. The poor baby was born in dark and cold conditions. But fortunately she could still be saved. There wasn't any medical equipment to help Mia at that time. So her baby's placenta had to be removed by herself, and she kept it in Tupperware. Next, Mia was confused about how to calm her baby, who kept crying. However, the baby must be hungry, but Mia has difficulty expressing breast milk because she lacks food and drink. Because of that, Mia tries to fulfill her intake by eating and drinking as she can. Day by day, the food and drink started to run out, but until now Mia is still trapped in the container. As a result, she started to make a hole in the ceiling of the container so she could get out and look for food. Unfortunately, before she could finish, the drilling tool suddenly broke. This also made Mia very frustrated. In a state of hunger and thirst, Mia was finally forced to eat her own baby's placenta because she couldn't stand it any longer. The next day, Mia again tried to make a hole in the container with a folding knife, but it turned out that her folding knife was also broken. As time went on, Mia became weaker and more helpless. Until one night, Mia dreamed of her first daughter, Uma. It turns out that Uma was a victim of government arrest when the regulations had just been implemented. That's what makes Nico was determined to take Mia away from Spain, because he didn't want Mia and their future baby to be arrested by the government. The next morning it rained quite heavily. Mia quickly took some Tupperwares to store water. After that, Mia got the idea to pull the hole in the container using a belt. And luckily it worked. After a long time, Mia was finally able to breathe fresh air, and she could see that all around her there was only a wide expanse of sea. Accidentally, when Mia was throwing away her child's feces, the fish started approaching. This also gave her the idea to catch fish as food. Then Mia also saw a plane passing by. She immediately took the piece of glass, hoping that the people on the plane would see that someone was in need of help. Because she was in a hurry, Mia's feet were scratched by the metal container. Because the blood continued to flow, Mia was forced to sew up the wound, using whatever tools she could. The next day, Mia managed to make a net to catch fish. Fortunately, Mia's efforts finally paid off, because finally Mia can eat fish even if it is eaten raw. Mia's struggle still continues. This time, she threw dozens of pieces of paper containing words asking for help, hoping that maybe someone would find it. Surprisingly, Mia and her baby named Noah survived in the container until the 12th day. That day Mia finally got a call from Nico. At first Mia thought Nico was already on his way to save them. However, it turned out that during the telephone call, Nico wanted to say goodbye to Mia because he was dying. Nico's intention to save Mia was suddenly destroyed because he had been spotted by the police and shot. Mia also told Nico about their child who had been born, and this made Nico happier than ever the last of his life. Now Mia's hopes have really been crushed. She doesn't know what else should she do, and she even seemed to have lost his reason to survive. In short, on the 26th day, some of the containers are now starting to be submerged in water. Mia takes Noah to the top of the container while preparing the tools to survive. In the evening, the holes in the containers that had been closed now began to open again, so that more and more water came in. Mia also tried to get into the container to take a photo of Uma, who was left behind. But unfortunately Mia's foot got caught in the rope. In the midst of the container sinking, Mia tried hard to free herself. And fortunately it worked. As soon as she got out of the container, Mia tried to look for Noah in the middle of the vast ocean. A whale approached Mia, but fortunately the whale didn't eat her. Some spray of water from the whale's back then hit Noah's body, and it made her cry. Thanks to that, Mia was able to hear Noah's voice and managed to find her. Now the mother and child have finally met. But who knows how long they can survive being adrift in the middle of the ocean. The next day, seagulls gathered around Mia and Noah because of the fish carcasses that were in the Tupperware. Luckily, this attracted the attention of a husband and wife who were sailing, so they approached and saved Noah. When the rope near Noah was pulled, they found Mia unconscious. The wife quickly gave Mia artificial respiration, and fortunately it managed to save her life. The husband then called the police and told them that they had found a mother and baby who needed help. After struggling for almost a month, Mia and Noah finally got help and managed to survive. And the movie finally ends.